Before we start, I just want to thank all of you because none of this would have been possible without you guys helping us financially and with your prayers to be able to send us to this amazing country and help these people.
Okay. You should start with that.
It's a slideshow.
In that picture, we're like
From the center of the equator line.
yes,
Yeah.
that's okay. So that was fun.
So tell us when you went to Quito.
Oh, we left on June 29th.
Yes.
We went for 2 weeks in June, July.
And the first week was a medical trip, so we left June 29th, the old flying stuff, and got there. Oh, there! That is our view from the Kunde house. It was where we stayed for 2 weeks. As you can see, that's gorgeous.
Yeah. That's what we watched, the sunrise every morning and the sunset. It was beautiful.
So you can't really say much. I mean, that speaks for itself. And as you see, the nice lady in the pink shirt, that's my Aunt Stephanie. She is the one who leads these trips every year. She was a missionary kid herself, so she has a lot of experience. She speaks Spanish, all that stuff. So she led the trip, and right there she's organizing classes, and because we had an eye clinic that people would go through to obviously receive classes and get their eyes checked out. And that's one of the doctors who was on the trip and the doctor stuff. I'm a little nervous.
So what did y'all do?
The medical was a lot of basic checkups, and everyone would get vitamins, and we would treat people for whatever illness they would have. And when they went in, you could either choose whether you go to the eye clinic or the medical clinic. And then if there was still time at the end of the day, they could go to both if they would like. So, I think we good shots. Well, we did one little minor surgery, which was removing, I think it was a skin pack or something. So that was really cool that we got to do that. But, just basic medical stuff. Like, some people have never seen a doctor before in their lives, so it was awesome that our team was able to do that.
And most of the medicines they would provide like parasite medications. They also provided like Tums and ibuprofen and things that they had no opportunity to grab. So everyone would get some kind of medication, even if they went to the eye clinic. I think they all had more vitamins, at least to the kids. And so that we weren't as much a part of that, but we know that they did do minor procedures, but not as many. Mostly one like surgery kind of thing. And just like she said, just checkups, just like a normal physical. Unless they have like a health condition that they wanted to address, they would go through all their health history and see what was their new concern when they first got there. They would go through the triage. Obviously get their blood pressure checked and do all the main checkup stuff to get them to see a doctor to talk about. And that picture is where they were sitting and waiting to be seen by a doctor. That was another one of our doctors. She mostly treated all the kids, and she was the only one for all the kids, so she saw a lot throughout the week. How many people do you know what she saw? By the end of the week, it was about 200 something.
A lot.
A lot. How many do you think? I know it was up to 1,000. And that is from the last day, a big line of people all waiting to be seen. That was one of our busiest days. We saw so many people. That was just at the church. In the church. Yes. This is just more pictures of the doctors treating people. Check us all this stuff. Oh, go ahead.
So, you're both part of the children's ministry in Ecuador. I was part of the sports team. So that's, on the left, that was our translator for the sports team. His name is Santiago. And he was really helpful. He actually spoke English pretty well for someone who was like 13. And me, and then that's Dalton, and all the way to the right is Zach. And those people were both from the church in North Carolina. and that were also there accompanying us on our trip. So it was really cool. A lot of the kids, well, like they played sports, but we would leave like some of the soccer balls behind, and like it was just really cute to see their faces light up when we would play with them. And we had like little soccer games or whatever, and we couldn't really communicate very well, but we all kind of got the gist of everything. But it was fun.
And I, something left over, right? What was the problem with other people? Sure. I worked for the other half of the children's nursery where we would bring the kids in. I was very famous for painting the nails, painting the mom's nails and the kids' nails while they were waiting to be seen. They're not for the medical clinic. And so we would play with them. We would, like I said, paint their nails. There was bubbles. They loved bubbles so much. It was crazy. They would all just run and grab them, and they would just give to me. They would all just try to pop them. It was so cute. And we would play music on the ukulele, just entertain them and play with them. Though they didn't they couldn't understand each other, they understand love and they understand affection and fun, and so that, and it's so sweet the relationships that were formed with the kids. They just love giving hugs and love giving them back, and it was a really fun time. And we would do story in Spanish. We had one person on our team who spoke Spanish almost fluently. She was going to be a Spanish teacher, and we also had a translator. And both of them would work together and do fun stories, and the kids would do a prayer. And some kids would come back and ask questions, or one of the pamphlets to take home. So that was the children's ministry. There's some pictures of the kids. The little girl by the fence, she loved balloons. We had balloons one day. We were playing with them. She would just love chasing them around and trying to get her play with her. She was the sweetest little thing.
The girls at the bottom, that was the first day, and I've taken like 1 year Spanish, so like very, very basic Spanish is my abilities. But when I was playing soccer with the kids, they came over to me and we were kind of communicating in a way, and so we walked across the field, and I sat on the bleachers with them and got to have like a conversation with them, and it was really cool. And like they're such sweet people. Like they're all so genuine and so kind and loving, and it's amazing.
So that's just pictures of people that we met, but also people that And that was the medical team. We had tons and tons of translators because, we couldn't really get much done. We would just answer at me, she would be so overwhelmed. And so we had tons of translators and doctors and nurses and people trained to be nurses, and just younger people like Julia and I. So that was our big team of people. Such a great group, and everyone worked together so well. We all became family just so quickly. So that was the wonderful team of people. And this is a week 2, the construction trip. And this week, Julie and I weren't as helpful. I mean, like we were helpful, but not necessarily in the way where you're like lifting stuff. And so we would break down boxes and bring them coffee, and we would support, we would be the cheerleaders. You got this, it's more time. We would calm people down before they got really angry at the floor. That happened a lot. So next slide, please. That was the team. So this is they did a bathroom. They basically completely took it all the way down and
rebuilt it in like 4 days.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of work, and all the floors were uneven. There was many problems that they ran into, but they did it. Yes. So that's just some of the pictures of some of the work that they were doing in the bathroom. That was one half of the trip. But not half of the trip, but half the work that was getting done. There was a bathroom that was, like I just said, basically being rebuilt, even taking the toilets out and everything. And then we were in the other building, and they were putting down laminate flooring, like on the whole entire floor. It was a really big floor, a lot of rooms.
And it was very uneven.
There it is. Oh, even rusted. They were so happy they finally got it done. Because the floor, every time they moved, it got uneven again. They were like, ah.
My job was chiseling, so I had the hammer and the chisel, and I would just chisel all the time, and then coffee.
So, and originally we would carry something.
Yeah, we did some lifting.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Next picture.
Oh, So, since we were not able to be athletically inclined in this area, I think it was the kitchen worker. These were her kids, and their names were Sophia and Jesus, and they are the sweetest little kids you will ever meet. They took us to their room, and they lived above the church, and we would ride their little tricycles with them and play with their dolls. And every day when we would come in, they would always like run to us and give us hugs, and then they would switch to the other one, and it was amazing.
Where's this church?
Keto.
And Grandpa Brad actually started the church. That was really cool for me to be able to go and see like the history of the church that he started and how it's flourished as people in that church. I was going to talk about that, but they are so kind. In this week they would cook his meals every single day. Because whenever I gained like 8 pounds, like you know what I think? Back in the beginning, now you still gained like it was so good, and the people in church were just so kind and genuine, and they just loved serving you, and they have just the most beautiful hearts. But for us, you can say that the highlight of the construction trip was building a relationship with Sophia and Jesus. They were so sweet. Like you said, they would run up and switch and hug each other, and they would just spend time with us all day long, and they would come and try and give us a soft helping. So that was great. Next picture. Oh. And a picture of them, that was a picture taken when they were doing
the prayer at the end of the games, or like the Bible story. We would not play Bible story. We would read a Bible story at the end of basically every group that would come in, and a few times a day, and so then we would pray with them to give their life to Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And so that was taken, and that was going on, and I said just to please keep these people in your prayers there, and keep Ecuador in your prayers, and the missionaries and the churches that we worked with, and just pray that there would be a blessing upon the country, and that the gospel would spread like a wildfire throughout the country. And I put on there Mark 16:15. He said to them, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all creation." So if you have a chance, go on a mission trip. And something else I wanted to tell you, after the end of the medical trip, 1,000 people have given their lives to Jesus, and they are still continually active in the churches, because when we leave, it doesn't just stop there. The churches pour and they build those relationships. After they go to the clinics, they write down their address, and they write down where they can find them or a number or somebody to reach them, and they go back to them, and they go to their homes, and they say, "Come to our church," and they have so many ministries there, outreaches to continue this after we leave. It's so much more than just us coming and out. Though we do provide medication and supplies, they are on the ground working there, building those relationships, and it's incredible, the ministry. And so just pray for that God will give them strength through the hard times there, and just bless the ministry and provide all that they need. Is there anything else that you need? Any questions?
Any questions?
How did it change you?
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
So, if you were at the dinner before we left, I talked about how I'd never been on a mission trip, and I've never really got to share the gospel with anyone. So, being around people who have never heard the name Jesus, and really seeing the light in their eyes that someone loves them, is going to care for them no matter what, was just amazing. And it made me think about the things that we take for granted, and being able to have the Bible at sound of a finger, and they don't have options for that. And so it was just amazing, and just really opened my eyes to how other people live.
For me, I've been on a mission trip before to Bulgaria, and like then I said, the worship, when we worship with the church that first day, it just makes you just cry, because it's so beautiful and so authentic. I feel sometimes in North America we're a little more like, oh, let's get a little more reserved with our worship, just in case you might let anyone else see it, he knows. And like, you know, but there they just hug and they cry and you just hear them praying to Jesus and they just dance, they dance. Those out there just woo, beautiful. And so that was another time, just seemed like them saying, Mikayla, are you worshiping Jesus like that in your own home? And so that was something that definitely impacted me. But also just like she said, the people, the way they live, and the little things that they have, they just moved you to say, what in my life do I need to change? And how can I appreciate what God has given me and use what God has given me to bless other people and just to share Jesus outside of just a week, going there and talking to people, but going home and saying, people around here are just as important as people over there, and I need to be in my community, and I need to be praying for people and serving people as the people in the church serve us, the people in the church who are helping us at the medical clinics and at the construction trip. So for me, that was definitely a big change, and I could copy that. And in those people, you just see God's heart and how He is a God who loves so intently and in so many ways. You can see how mighty and powerful He is, and that was just once again just a way to say this is the God who loves us and who sent His Son to die for us, and that was just wow. Yes. Is there any other questions? Anyone else?
All right, very good. Amazing. Well, we're not done with mission reports. Mikayla mentioned her grandpa Brad, who happens to be Dr. Brad Morris, who spent many years in Ecuador, and the church that they were fixing up in that second part of the week, I think it was actually part of the building, right? But Brad helped begin this church. I'll let him tell you how many churches this church has planted since. But I want to throw out something. We're a church plant.
Yeah.
And I hope that you're catching the vision. That it's not just about us. That it's how many more churches can be planted and lives touched and the gospel spread. So Brad, come on up. He's got some pictures to show as well. And so we'll have
Thank you, Pastor Brad. It's good to be back with you. I don't know who all of you are. I guess you're standing all. Anyway, we're glad to be here, and I don't know if I can follow what Mikayla and Julia have done. It's exciting to see young people who catch a vision for missions, and one or both of these girls and others, because of the activity of this church, don't be surprised when one day they announce, I'm going as a missionary and live somewhere. God bless you both girls. I want to add a couple of other things about what they were talking about, this particular missions trip. I was not on this trip. My oldest daughter, Stephanie, she was 5 years old when we went to Ecuador. She graduated high school in Ecuador, and she and her husband have led trips for about the last 7-8 years, I guess, to Ecuador, because she has a call to do that. But this year, I think it was the first picture you saw the doctor there. He was not a Christian. He was Jewish. And he wanted to go because he knew Stephanie. And he said, I've seen your spirit. I will be a part. Yes, right there in the cabin. And when he came back, he was so moved that he said, I want to go again next year. Not only that, there was a Muslim lady who did not go on the trip, but because she said something that we all need to heed, she said, because I see the trueness of what you talk about being a Christian exhibited in your life, I want to give. And she gave several $1,000 for medical and construction trips. Not Christian, Muslim. This has an impact. These two people, I believe, are going to come to know Jesus Christ.
Amen.
I believe that, so you pray for those. I lived in Ecuador with my family for about 15 years and served as a missionary. And this particular church, the Quito Evangelistic Center, is in the heart of old colonial Quito. And it actually, I began that church actually renting a triple X-rated movie theater to have services on Sunday morning, and we had to be out of it by 1 o'clock, because where we were out or not, they started the movies. So, we were like an army of ants carrying all the microphones, musical instruments, and everything in, and then getting it up and out. But this church, we began 28 years ago. And in that ensuing 28 years, because they have a vision for starting churches, and most of these medical teams that will go down to work with the churches they have started, or to build actual buildings for new churches. In the 28 years, they have established 49 churches in these mountains. And so I'm not only Mikayla's grandpa, but I'm grandpa to many, many folks in Ecuador. And I love that idea. I started churches. That's what I did in Ecuador primarily. And there were other things I did. I also worked in the Amazon jungle with the Shuar Indians. The Shuar are an Indian tribe that they were headhunters, literally. When they took their enemies, like the North American Indians here, would scalp you, they cut their heads off, peel the flesh back. I'm not going to go into detail here, but they would fill that skin with sand and shrink it down to about the size of a baseball. And that was their trophy that they had. And I worked with them. And the village of Kasuka, okay, let's see, yes, okay. Right here is part of the village. I'm a pilot, and I would fly in and land on the airstrip you can see there on this side. The village is there. There's the airstrip of the village. And it's in the middle of the Amazon. And I worked with them for several years, and that's the house I stayed in. You see the door? Those are poles, and there's a trench dug across the door there. That's where I slept. The trench across the door. Had a trench there, then you can set the poles down, and that's so the wild animals could not push the door in and get at you in the middle of the night. That's how you lock the door. But anyway, the bamboo, split bamboo is not very comfortable to sleep on. I actually slept on a hammock. It was better. But I had worked with the Shuar, and after about 3 months, I knew this time was coming, and the elders wanted to meet with me and sit around the fire and talk to me, and they, the Indian's chief's son, he translated, because I did not speak Shuar, I spoke Spanish, and he spoke Spanish, so he translated what his dad and the elders were saying. And so they called me up to where the elders were, and they all circled around me. And I was okay until they all got their spears out and pointed them to different parts of my body, front and back, and just kind of indented my flesh just a little bit with spears. And I thought, dear Lord, what are they doing? I'm going to die right here. And they were just breathing real heavy, in and out. And so they finished and they walked on. And so the next day, Danielle, the son of the chief, he asked me, or I asked him, I said, what was that all about? He said, well, when you were there with them, and they gave you their name. Everyone in the village is named Nye Choppy. And they named me Nye Choppy, so that became my first name. And he said, but when they were breathing in and out, they were breathing